With the Disney Fox acquisition now completed, and as always with these corporate machines, little being revealed, the future of the Alien franchise hangs in an uneasy and careful balance of profit and loss. With Disney being the family-friendly studio, what is the future of the Alien franchise under Disney? In today's editorial, I will be breaking down a brief history of the Alien franchise, with its profits and losses, overall reception and how a studio may interpret that. Taking special attention to discuss Ridley Scott's recent Alien Covenant installment, and how that will likely be affecting the landscape, and how he has positioned himself now to continue with Disney post-acquisition. We will also take a brief look at the rumoured TV series for new subscribers and viewers, though if you want to see a more in-depth editorial on this, then I have included a link in the description box to my previous deep dive. And then we will close with discussing the most recent information to come from a Disney and Fox panel that was held at CinemaCon, and ultimately what this will indicate, sorting through the fan hype of such information to the cold hard facts and realistic likelihood, taking everything else into account that was previously discussed in today's editorial. If you do enjoy today's editorial, then please do consider supporting me in producing the best deep dive content in sci-fi and horror by checking out my Patreon page in the link below. If you do enjoy today's video, then don't forget to like it and share with those that will also. To understand where the Alien franchise can go, if it does indeed have a future, it's perhaps best to analyse the history of the franchise and its profits along with fan reception. This is important because a studio, any studio, will be doing the same, as after all, films are a business. Alien, the 1979 start to the franchise, was a smash hit. It was a film that experienced a true struggle to get off the ground in a time where these types of movies were unheard of outside of the B-movie culture. Still, 20th Century Fox got together with a production budget of $11 million, and the film scored nearly 10 times that amount at the worldwide box office, taking just under $105 million. This being a true testament to how well received the film was, and even critically, it was well received for its type of film. Not only that, but as we will learn, it would create vast amounts of profit in numerous merchandising opportunities that Fox would license out. Nearly 10 years later, we would have James Cameron step into the mix with his Vietnam allegory, Aliens. The production budget was never officially released for this, but it's rumoured to have been around $18.5 million. A modest step up from the intro to the franchise, and, even for the time, still a relatively small budget, all things considered. But once again, it was released, taking a total of $131 million at the worldwide box office, receiving fan praise and critical praise, expanding the universe of the Alien franchise further and opening up those licensing deals that would come from this expansion. This was certainly deemed successful by 20th Century Fox. And then we come to the third entry to the franchise, and here is where things begin to fall apart. Alien 3 was released in 1992, with a production budget thought to be around $50 million, though you wouldn't believe it from the film itself. This film experienced such heavy issues during its production. Stories were changed and swapped at last minute, entire sets were scrapped, and as such, the production budget skyrocketed, all in an effort to just get something to the screen. The film would not be as well received by its predecessors, and this was reflected in its measly $159 million worldwide box office. This could easily be considered a failure from multiple angles and, as the saying goes, the apple falling far from the tree. But 20th Century Fox was not done yet. In 1997, they released Alien Resurrection. With a production budget of $75 million, it would seem that they were intent on trying to recoup some of their loss from this previously profitable franchise, and that would fail spectacularly, as they released what is considered to be the worst in the franchise to this date, receiving critical heat and fan backlash. This film would only go on to take $161 million at the worldwide box office, and that is where the franchise was put to rest until the Alien vs Predator movies kickstarted it once more. Though the AVP movies are not strictly Alien films, they have to be considered in this editorial due to the fact that they factor into the overall value any studio will be placing on the franchise as a whole. They were not universally well received, the second being panned, and although they made some money, AVP had a budget of 60 million and only took 172 million, whereas AVP 2 had a budget of roughly 40 million and only took 129 million at the box office. Both of these could be considered to be failures in the eyes of a studio, certainly nothing to be proud of. Now, during all of this time, 20th Century Fox had been slowly licensing out the franchises of Predator and Alien in merchandise, earning millions for them, with comics, games, graphic novels, novelizations, toys, and high-end models. This part is important, as it's been an incredibly lucrative avenue for Fox. The total profit from this is not something that is readily available, but it will be, across the years, in the tens of, even hundreds of millions. Then we flash forward to the last in the series, the two which are perhaps most important when looking at the immediate future, Prometheus and Alien Covenant. Prometheus was released in 2012 with a budget of $130 million, a huge risk for Fox, but it paid off. Prometheus would take home a total of $404 million at the worldwide box office, and sealing itself a sequel. Fox were back on track with the Alien franchise, or so it seemed. Ridley Scott was then placed at the helm of the franchise and began work on Prometheus 2, which would later become Alien Covenant. This is important to note, Ridley Scott being put in charge, because this is key to what happens next. 5 years later, after a huge build-up, Alien Covenant was released. A production budget of only 97 million, but would this score a profit? Barely. The film took home 240 million at the worldwide box office, and was critically panned along with receiving numerous fan backlash. This is where Fox had ran before they had fully learned to warp. On the lead up to Alien Covenant's release, we were learning of numerous development issues, script rewrites, issues under the surface. And on Alien Day in 2017, a group of journalists and film critics were invited to 20th Century Fox's offices in London to watch previews of the film Alien Covenant. I was in attendance. Prior to the previews, a representative for Fox came out and gave a speech with regards to just how happy they were with the film, how Ridley Scott was the man for the franchise, the one they trusted to guide the ship moving forwards. This aligns with everything we know around the Alien franchise to this date. 20th Century Fox hired Ridley Scott to revive the franchise, which he did with Prometheus. During that time though, Neil Blomkamp was working on developing his own Alien film, which was then squashed by Ridley Scott and in-house politics. Ridley Scott was given a lot of free rein in the Alien arena and decided to explore androids, man's creations, and the space jockey rather than the titular beast, the alien. Alien Covenant is something Fox would consider a disaster. The marketing budget for this film was huge, easily going hand in hand with the rule of thumb of equal to production budget, maybe even more. As such, the Alien franchise was once again put to bed. The planned sequels were put on hold and production teams moved on to other work. Even Ridley himself began other projects. Then the Disney-Fox deal began. We heard rumours and rumblings that this was a potential, and around the same time this news came to light, we learned that Ridley Scott was working on Merlin. Surprise, surprise, for Disney. This is the first signs that Ridley Scott had begun to try and curry favour with the studio to secure future works post-acquisition. Around the same time this was happening, there were rumours started by Christopher Mark, previously of Omega Underground, of an Alien TV series in the works. This would later be brought back up by the same man when he moved house to HN Entertainment, and they stated that 2 live-action TV series were in active development. Though ultimately all of this would be proved false by Deadline's report post-acquisition, where they revealed that there was a pitch, and only a pitch, by Fargo's Noah Hawley. For more information on the TV series rumours along with dates and references, please check out my previous editorial linked below. Now, in the very same Deadline report, it was revealed that Fox would now be strong-armed by Disney in future. They would have a stranglehold on them for the amount of movies they would be able to produce per year, along with streaming series as well. A measly 4 movies and 4 streaming series per year was the allowance, all but putting to bed any movement on the Alien series for some time. Now, why do we say this? Well, when taking a look at the profits and losses of the movies, despite the licensing agreements being a steady stream of profit for Fox, the movies have peaked and troughed, more of late though being what the studio would consider to be failures. Now recently, at CinemaCon, Disney and Fox held a panel where they stated that Disney will assist Fox in creating new stories and franchises they had previously worked on, which they went on to list a number of, Alien being one of them. Now it's important to not get excited by this statement. This was not confirmation anything is in development. In fact, it was quite literally a statement of franchises continuing. That's all. And pair that with the Deadline report of Disney stating Fox can only produce 4 movies per year, and the fact that Fox has taken serious financial hits with the Alien franchise of late, Alien is not a priority as yet. Or should I say, it is a priority, but nothing we will be getting anytime soon until they have established a story that will turn a profit for Disney. Ridley Scott has positioned himself with Disney favourably for a reason. He's a businessman after all. He will be working on a Merlin saga for some time, directing and producing them. But this means as much as he's curried favour with Disney, he is also now committed, and he will not be returning to the Alien franchise until he's likely finished with the Merlin saga. So what is the future of the Alien franchise? It's no coincidence Ridley Scott is working on the Merlin saga. He will likely get to finish his prequel stories as a direct agreement under the table for doing the Merlin movies for Disney. Fox are not making anywhere near the amount of movies they had previously, and as such, Ridley Scott will not be working on Alien anytime soon. Expect the Alien franchise to continue, but with a major break. In this time, Disney will be working closely with Fox to ensure they make a profit on the franchise that historically can make money, but of late has been a failure. And of course, don't take the recent headlines as anything being in active development, because that is so far from the truth. So what do you think of all of this? Does this give you hope for the future of the franchise? Please do leave all your thoughts down below, and if you are new here, then please do hit subscribe, and to stay up to date on all of my editorial content, please do hit that bell notification icon. As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's editorial. As always, I've been Mr. H. Take care.